We're all constantly racing against the clock. But what if we're running in the wrong direction when it comes to our finances? Today, we're going to dive into this hidden paradox between the hours we have and the money we make. All right, to really get to the heart of this, let's start with a really simple but deep question that the author of our source material has been asking people for over 2 decades. So let me ask you the same thing right here, right now. Just take a second. Do you, personally, believe that life is fair? Well, if your answer was no, you were definitely not alone. About 90% of people feel the exact same way. And hey, it makes sense. We see unfairness all around us, right? But what if I told you there's a little twist to this story? It turns out that even with all of life's inequalities, there is one thing, just one thing, that is perfectly mathematically fair for every single person on this planet. What's really wild is that this one thing cuts across all our differences. It doesn't matter what your background is, what language you speak, or where you live. It is the one resource where everybody, and I mean everybody, gets the exact same amount. So, any guesses? Have you figured it out yet? It's actually a pretty tough riddle. The source material says that very, very few people get this right on the first try. That one thing we all share equally? It's time. Yep. Every single person on this planet gets the exact same 24 hours each day. No more, no less. It is the one truly level playing field we have. Which, of course, brings us to a really interesting paradox. So if this core resource, the actual currency of our lives, is handed out equally, why aren't the results? That is the paradox we really need to unpack. This is where it gets fascinating, right? We all get that same 24-hour deposit into our life account every single day. So how is it that some people build massive fortunes while so many others just get by? The answer isn't the amount of time we get, it's all about the strategy for how we use it. To really get our heads around this, we have to look at the numbers. Let's actually calculate how many hours you can trade for money over your entire working life. Okay, so let's picture a pretty standard career path. You start working around 25, and you hope to retire by 65. That gives you a solid 40 years of work. So the question is, how many hours does that actually add up to? If you do the math, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, about 50 weeks a year for 40 years, it comes out to just 80,000 hours. That's it. That's your entire inventory of time that you can sell for money. Kind of surprising how small that number feels, isn't it? Now, let's put a price tag on that time. Using the examples from our source, let's say you're making $10 an hour. Your lifetime income is capped at $800,000. Even if you double that to $20 an hour, you top out at $1.6 million. You can see how this system has a built-in ceiling, right? You literally run out of hours to sell. But here's the real reality check. Let's say you do make that $1.6 million over your career. Does that mean you're going to have a cool 1.6 mil sitting in the bank when you finally retire? Yeah, we all know the answer to that one. Of course not. Because, well, life happens. From just your everyday food and living expenses to the big stuff like getting married, buying a house, maybe a car, raising kids, all of these things are constantly chipping away at that finite pot of money. Okay, so if trading your time for money is basically a trap, how the heck do you get out? Well, the source material points to 2 crucial secrets to doing just that. The author shares this powerful lesson they learned 27 years ago. Success requires effort, but effort doesn't guarantee success. I want you to think about that. Just working harder at your job, grinding out those 80,000 hours, that's not the answer. It's not about how hard you work, it's about the direction you're pointed in. And that really gets to this fundamental shift in your thinking. Working a traditional job is all about earning enough money to live. But this new approach, this is about setting up your life to earn money for your dreams. So this brings us to the 2 big secrets for breaking out. First up is direction. You have to shift from being an employee who sells time to becoming an owner who builds an asset. You've got to create something that makes money without you having to be there. And second, you have to understand the principle of multiplication. You must find ways to leverage and multiply your time. This means creating systems or products that can work for you 24/7, smashing right through that 80,000-hour limit. So really, it all boils down to this one simple question for you to think about. We all get the same 24 hours. The only difference is what we're doing with them. Are your hours just earning you a living, or are they building you a dream? Thanks for joining me for this one.